Memorial Day weekend is less than a week away. Because of that, I thought I would do a video this week on top 10 safety precautions to keep us from lighting the forest on fire. So we're going to try to prevent a forest fire. Now here in Arizona, we have already had, in the northern half of the state, 2 very big fires that kind of went out of control before fire season even got started. So we would like to keep that to no more man-made fires before the end of the season. And I got the statistic off of the U.S. Department of Interior that said 9 out of 10 wildfires are human caused. So that's a terrible statistic. We want to keep that down to nothing. We certainly don't want anything happening this weekend, Memorial Day weekend. So I went to the website, the U.S. Department of Interior, and I downloaded their list of suggestions, and that's what I'm covering in this video. But I will put a link in the description below so you can go read it, because a lot of them I thought were redundant, and so I kind of grouped a couple of them together. But if you go to the original article, you will get a lot more information. So before I begin, I want to let you know my name is Dickenson. I live in beautiful Sedona, Arizona, and I sell real estate here in another part of the state. So if you have a real estate question, Sedona, Verde Valley, Flagstaff area, my contact information is below, so you can give me a call, email, or text, and I will get back to you. So now I'm going to begin with the number 1 suggestion is, if you're going out for the weekend, camping or traveling, check for water and drought conditions and also wind conditions. So I'm going to start by saying that if you're in Arizona, there's going to be a very likely chance, other years, this year for sure, but that there's going to be a drought. Everything is going to be super dry. And if you're in Memorial Day, which would be, any time in the spring, maybe early June, it's probably going to be windy. So I haven't seen the forecast yet for the weekend, but I'd say 80% of the time it's very windy on Memorial Day. Maybe not so windy this year, but you never know. Just expect it to be windy. And of course, when it's dry and windy, that means there's higher risk of fire, and you just need to be extra careful when you're out in the woods. So number 2 is about campfires. Campfires are probably one of the leading things that cause man-made wildfires. So the Department of Interior suggests, if you're building a campfire, and again, parts of the year, the Forest Service will shut down campfires. Right now, you're still able to do them, so I expect over Memorial Day weekend you will be able to. So if you're doing a campfire, make sure it's kind of away from the stuff, like away from your trailer, away from the big trees. If you can kind of do it in a center area where there's not a lot of grasses. If there are grasses, kind of, pull them away. So kind of clear it. It's suggested just put your campfire out in a clearing, not close to stuff. So if it gets too high, it's going to start something on fire. The next suggestion is campfire again. When you are leaving your campsite, do not do it unless the campfire is totally out. Now, the way they suggest you do it is you douse the fire with water, then you kind of stir the ashes around, douse it with water again, stir it again, and do not leave your campsite until you've put your fingers on the center and you feel that it's cold. So very important that the campfire is out. That is probably the top suggestion of the list. There are 3 very important ones. The campfire being out is the one most important of this of the list. Now, number 2, very important also, is to keep your vehicles off of the dry grass. And that might seem something that's logical, but you might not think about it, because I remember in the past, my family would go on these 2-3 hour expeditions on the quad or the side-by-side. We did this mostly when I was younger on a quad. We didn't have a side-by-side, but now I've got a side-by-side. And if you're going out and you're out for 2 hours and you pull over in the woods and you're gonna let's have a couple of drinks of soda or water, and let's have a couple of snacks, you might be sitting there for a half hour. So if you're gonna do that, make sure you turn your vehicle off, because if it's idling, the engine will be very hot, and if there's any grass or debris, that's a super easy way to start a forest fire. So keep your vehicle away from the grass, and then if you are parking in the woods on your ride, just turn the engine off. Or say you pull over and you're like, ooh, let me walk over there and see if that's a trail, or if I saw a deer. Just shut your car off before you do something like that. Now, the website suggests that you carry certain items in your vehicle for safety when you're going camping. If you're living up here, I would suggest you do this all the time. Always carry a shovel in your truck. Carry a fire extinguisher, that's something I don't have, and a bucket, so that if you're out and something happens, that you see a fire, it's starting, that you can put it out right away before it gets too bad and you have to call the fire department or the Forest Service. So if you carry those things in your truck, hopefully nothing will ever get out of hand, but it is good to have those things just in case so that you can put it out before it gets too bad. Okay, so now the next thing is if you are in a trailer. This is very important. If you're taking a trailer out, of course the first thing is to make sure your tires are good and your bearings are good and it's properly set up. I know anytime in my childhood, if we were taking the trailer out and it had been idle, you're gonna have a problem with the lights. Oh my goodness, my dad spent hours screaming at the lights. But that's not what I'm concerned about. The thing is when you hook it up, you got those safety chains. Make sure those safety chains are very secure and they're all up so that they can't, during your drive, fall down, start dragging on the ground, because chains dragging on asphalt is an extremely dangerous situation and very high probability of you starting a fire that way. So make sure your chains are secure and they're not going to drag, they're not going to fall off, halfway into your trip and you won't even see it, and now you've got the whole woods on fire. So don't do that. Now, on the Department of Interior list, it says keep sparks away from dry vegetation. I want to say, yeah, I think we can figure that one out. So I'm going to expand that a little bit and say keep sparks, like if you're a smoker, be very careful of your cigarette butts. Don't flip them out the window. Don't throw them out. We would rather you just put them in an ashtray and extinguish them. But if not, if you have to throw them on the ground, step on it, stomp it out, and then put it in the trash can. But definitely make sure your cigarette butt is out, because I would put that on the number 3. Cigarette butt, campfire, and dragging chains as the 3 most dangerous things that you can do in the woods. So that's another one on their list. Check conditions before you use fireworks. Okay, I guess fireworks are probably very high on the list. When I was a child, fireworks were not legal in the state, but now we have dry conditions. Most of the time by 4th of July, there's a ban on fireworks, but not always. But check the conditions, make sure you can use fireworks, but we would probably recommend you do something else, like a glow stick. I know, that sounds wussy, doesn't it? But better than blowing off your hand or setting the woods on fire. Now, a statistic on this website said that every year there are 9,000 people going to the emergency room because of a firework mishap, and it said fireworks start over 19,000 fires a year. Of course, that's a national statistic, but wow, that kind of puts things into perspective. So that's it. That's my list. Again, I've condensed it a bit. If you want to go to the U.S. Department of Interior website, I've got the link below. I hope you have a wonderful holiday weekend. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if so, please give me a thumbs up. Maybe subscribe, because I do post videos here every single week on my channel, Living in Northern Arizona, and I hope to see you back here again next week.